The Philadelphia Eagles claim quarterback Ian Book, former fourth-round pick from Notre Dame of the New Orleans Saints. They had to let Davion Taylor go to make this, transaction work out. Let's talk for a few minutes, everybody. What's up, Cerebral football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. Hey, if you're new to the channel, it's maybe the first, second, third time you caught my content and you enjoyed today's discussion. If I can ask you to do me a huge solid here, guys. We're on our journey towards 7,500 subscribers. We've got about 6,250 right now. I'd love for you to be a part of that equation, guys, and join the Cerebral community. Just need you to subscribe to do that. To my OG subscribers, hat in hand, you know what the ask is going to be, guys. If you can hit that like button, smash the thumbs up button, help me spike the algorithm and get this in front of new people that we could potentially convert into our little community here. All right, y'all. Today's topic. The Eagles actually had to release Davion Taylor to get Ian Book underneath contract here, get him on the 53, if you will. Not necessarily under contract, because you're claiming the contract when you claim a player off of waivers. But what I will say is, it's a surprising move because Davion Taylor, while I think we can all make an argument this was not his greatest camp, has legitimate NFL film to show that there is some potential here. I will point out real quick before we get too deep into today's topic, there is still one open spot remaining on our practice squad and two guys we have familiarity with that, I don't know, we'll see, guys. So, practice squad as it has turned out so far. LaRaven Clark, Kennedy Brooks, Marvin Wilson, Christian Ellis, Coyote Owasika, Andre Chachere, LaMichael Perrine, Anthony Harris, Noah Togiai, Reed Sinnett, Britton Covey, Deon Cain, Devin Allen, Mario Goodrich, and Cameron Tom. Right now, because Matt Leo is an international exception player, there is an available roster spot on the practice squad. It does seem, somewhat legit to say, maybe they will go three running backs. I don't think they're going to do that, guys, but theoretically they could bring back Jason Huntley, although he was not spotted at practice, so seems unlikely to me, but I've learned over the years is to never fully close a door. You never really know. But Davion Taylor might be the guy that if they can clear him through waivers, that's where they add the 16th player to the practice squad. That might be their intention because as I count out who is physically on the practice squad, I count out 10 offensive players and 5 defensive players currently. Marvin Wilson at defensive tackle, linebacker Christian Ellis, safety Andre Chachere, safety Anthony Harris, and cornerback Mario Goodrich. It would seem to me as if it would make some sense to add another defensive player here, and maybe they're hoping Davion Taylor clears those waivers. I don't know. I'm just going to say, I don't know, guys. This is a difficult one. I'm not going to go out on a limb here and say that he will or won't clear it. We'll see. They clearly had something in mind here, right? Like, you're not going to hold him unless you're trying to get something out of this, right? You put him on your original 53. Maybe they were trying to trade him. That could be what I'm missing here, guys. They attempted to trade him and it didn't work out. But I think that they always had this kind of in mind that they were going to probably claim a quarterback, put him on the 53, then move Davion, hopefully to the practice squad as teams filled their coffers with claims. I think that's kind of what they were looking to do. We'll see if that works out. All right, let's get into talking about Ian Book. Ian Book's a former fourth-round pick here. I'll be honest, I was a little on Ian Book coming out last year's draft, 2021 draft. I will say, I went back, guys. You know that some of you guys call this my Bible, but you guys know that I track certain metrics when it comes to college football. And one of the things I like to track when it comes to young quarterbacks is their performance versus pressure. I feel like if you want to get to know a guy without getting to know a guy, like I can't talk to their coaches, guys. I don't have that kind of access. I can't tell you what they're like in the classroom. I can't tell you their ability to learn, but I can map it. I can map it by looking at pressure numbers. That's why I like to look at things like this, because let's break everything down and let's see how you respond, and that'll give me an idea of who you are as a player. It's not, it's not 100%. Sometimes you're really wrong about guys. But I will say, over the past 5 years or so that I've tracked quarterbacks, the guy who statistically stood out and no one has come close to is Joe Burrow, under pressure, to where he was 81 of 122, which is a 66.4 completion rate versus pressure. Unheard of, guys. Anything over 50% or even near 50% is a dang good marker, man. And by the way, Mac Jones is number 2 on that number. 1,391 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had 12 big-time throws against 6 turnover-worthy passes, 11.7 yards of average depth, 9 throwaways, 36 sacks, a pressure-to-sack rate, though, of only 19.1%, so under 20%. Anything under 20% to me is acceptable. 3.72 time to throw. College quarterbacks are always going to take a little long to throw the ball, but generally speaking, you like to see that number under 4 seconds. 30 scrambles, some athletic ability here, but he had a 141 NFL passer rating. Joe Burrow was very much an outlier. Where does that leave us with Ian Book? How did Ian Book stack up against everything? Well, Ian Book was kind of right in the middle, guys. I tracked 41 of these dudes. 41 guys over the course of like 5 years. And Ian Book ranked about 18th out of 41, so kind of in that upper middle area of this category. I will say right from the jump is that his senior season was in 2020, which was a shortened season, and he still faced 149 snaps versus pressure. That's a lot, guys. I mean, he faced a ton of pressure. He faced the second most pressure out of all Division I, D1 football. So, I mean, yeah, Ian Book definitely, he was under fire a little bit there. He was 93 of 149, so that's a 49.5 completion percentage. Not bad. It's decent. 618 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception, 2 big-time throws and 3 turnover-worthy passes. Not a lot of big plays, guys. There's a few of these dudes like that. I mean, it's hard to make big plays against pressure. I would say that this is more of a guy that will either see it and get it out of his hands in terms of like, okay, I can beat the defense, but I'll also say with Ian Book, and you'll see this in a minute, guys, he's a young man that likes to try to move the pocket, elude pressure, and hang in there to get the ball down the field. A little bit more mobility to his game than you would probably suspect until you watch the film and see the underlying analytics behind his play. And that'll play out in just this statistic right here, guys. 20 throwaways, so he will throw the ball away. He took 26 sacks, which was a 17.4 pressure-to-sack rate, so under 20% threshold, that's decent. 29 scrambles. He'll scramble. He will run with the football, right? Joe Burrow had 30. He's got 29. But he held the ball 4.31 seconds, a 4.31 time to throw, which tells me he'll move the pocket. He likes to move around. He likes to wait and try to find things open downfield. Probably going to need to learn how to play on schedule at the NFL level. I don't deem it from the big playability here, big-time throws versus turnover-worthy passes. I would probably want to see his film a little bit more. I don't want to go definitively into statements here, guys, because it's been a couple years since I watched this film. But I would say that immediately I would be looking at arm strength. I want to see him throw certain routes. I want to see him throw far hash timing routes, deep comebacks from the far hash. I want to see routes that require a little bit of arm strength to get the ball out there. Because the kind of turnover-worthy passes versus the big-time throws, I'm a little iffy on it, guys. I'm not saying that he's got a bad arm or anything like that. I mean, there's not enough info that I've looked at to determine that, but it's certainly going to cross my mind given what I'm seeing from the underlying analytics. We'll see, guys. I mean, everyone deserves a chance, right? I mean, what I think it tells me more than anything is that they weren't really willing to develop some of the guys we had here in Philadelphia, right? I mean, Reed Sinnett was signed back to the practice squad, so they at least saw something there they liked. But they weren't going to carry him on the active roster, and they didn't want him near the football field in a meaningful game, clearly, anytime early on. And apparently they got Ian Book rated as higher than him, the professional scouting department does. So, Ian Book, welcome to Philadelphia. Interesting, too, how some of these things kind of work out and they shake out, right, guys? Like how the Saints, the Eagles, the Vikings, like there are certain teams that clearly like to do business together, and you see a lot of transactions from certain teams. I just think that's interesting the more I track it. I actually would love to really sit down one day and look through the transaction wire and just see definitively who does the most business with each other. I think that would be a really interesting thing to take a look at. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much for your time and attention, guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.